Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I made this hot cross bun squishy. So to start off with, what I took was a car wash sponge, and the reason that I did this today was because I understand that a lot of people don't have memory foam and wanted to see how this would work out. I bought this car wash sponge for 25p at a local shop. I don't kind of know what type of shop it is, but it's a really weird shop that sells loads of little random things like car wash sponges and everyday household objects. So what you want to do is cut this into a square and then round off any of the corners. You'll then want to take small snips and just round this out so that it's like a nice rounded kind of square shape. Once you're happy with this shape, you'll then want to round off the corners of the top, and you'll just want to take these off completely and then smooth out from there. You'll end up with like a little bit on top of like the square shape, and you just want to take off all the angles so that you're left with a nice dome-like shape. So once completely happy with the shape, you'll then want to go ahead and make the cross on top. So to do this, I took my scissors at an angle of like being right at the end of it and kind of snipped with the very tip of my scissors. It's really hard to explain, but you can kind of see here what I do. I snip down like making two lines. I then spread it apart with my left hand, holding it so that I can get into those creases. And then what I do with my scissors is I make small snips and just round out those cuts. It then leaves a nice rounded indent, as you can see here, to make the cross. What I then did was drag this line up so that the cross kind of went up and around the dome bit of the bun. Now you'll want to do this for all four sides so that you can kind of meet them up in the middle to make the cross. So once you have all four lines, you'll then want to elongate these to make a cross in the middle. You'll want to first make the angle match the other one, so you kind of want to make like a little triangle like shape, as you can see here. And what you want to do is just round this out by spreading it apart again and just creating a nice indent, making a cross-like shape. I don't really know how else to explain this, but you can kind of see here you just want to make a really like shallow cut and then just smooth it out. So once you have your hot cross bun all kind of shaped and everything, it's then time to paint. I went ahead and painted the first layer of mine with white puffy paint. I actually mixed in a tiny bit of PVA glue in this to make this go a little bit further. You can do this so that you don't waste so much paint, but it's not really necessary. It just kind of makes the paint go a little bit further and you don't use as much paint. So yeah, I just coated the whole thing in white to just start with a base coat. A trick to speed up the painting is to wear a glove on the kind of hand that you're using to hold it, and then you can kind of use your hand to really squeeze it into the sponge, and that way you're not like going on forever trying to paint it with a brush and stuff like that. It does really help when doing base coats and stuff where you don't have to be neat, you just have to get an overall coverage. So once the white on my hot cross bun was dried, I then went ahead and added some other colours to my paint to kind of make that hot crossy bun colouring, as if to say. I added some gold, some red and some yellow puffy paint to the white puffy paint mixture, and I basically just kept adding until I was happy with the colour. I also added a little black to kind of darken it up a little bit, as I had a lot of white puffy paint in this little pot. So yeah, I just went ahead and made it the colour I wanted it to be. Once I was happy with the colour that I had made, it basically was just a light brown colour, and I just mixed this into the hot cross bun as before. So I used the same glove again, and I just helped squeeze this into the sponge. Like I said, this coat also doesn't have to be neat, so this technique can be used here too. When you're not using memory foam, the trick is to cover up all the holes that you possibly can. Cheaper foams usually have bigger holes in, such as this car wash sponge. It does have quite big air holes in the foam, so what you'll want to do is cover all of those up. Now you'll get better coverage with the more layers you put on, and this will make it more slow rising. So between every layer you want to really make sure you get the paint into those little holes and into the little air bubbles that you see on the sponge or foam that you're using. As you can see here, I'm really covering up all the little air holes. I'm just layering that paint on to make sure that the next coat, all the layers and all the holes will be fully full up. So once this coat was fully dry, you can see the majority of the holes are now covered, but you'll want to go ahead and with another layer of paint, you'll want to make sure that all the ones left are completely full. As you can see here, I'm loading the paint again into those little holes, making sure that they're all full up with paint and fully covered. You'll want to do this until all the holes are covered. Like I said, it doesn't matter how many layers it takes, just make sure that those little holes are full up. So once this layer was dry, I actually went in with a really thin other layer because I still had some of the paint left over and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I just used it up. So once all the layers were fully dry, I then went ahead with an even lighter brown colour and I just painted the cross in this colour. I basically just mixed up the same colours as before, but not adding any black, so that I was left with a nice beigey, light browny type colour, and I just painted this on top of the cross. What I did was took my paintbrush and just did it really neatly, as this was going to be the final coat and I was only going to do one coat of this colour to add for decoration basically. Now I didn't put any on the back because, well, at least where I live no hot cross buns have the cross on the back anyway, so I just didn't do this and I left it plain. I then set this to dry, and once dry my hot cross bun was then complete. Now I'm super happy with how this turned out, especially for a car wash sponge. It turned out so soft and quite slow rising as well. Like before I put on any of the paint, the foam was not slow rising at all, but it worked out really well and I'm really happy with it. I didn't actually put a kawaii face on a DIY for once, as I felt like this little hot cross bun just looked fine as itself, and like a lot of bread and bun squishies, they don't have cute faces on all the time, so yeah, I just left mine. But if you wanted a little kawaii face on yours, you can obviously add one. So I hope you enjoyed this video and appreciated me trying out a new foam or sponge. I'm just really happy with how this turned out. For 25p, I feel like everyone can kind of buy one of those, and they're available in so many shops, unlike memory foam, so yeah, hopefully you can get your hands on one. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!